Study Section 3, Training Needs. Introduction. In this study session, we'll be looking at how to identify training needs. We began the session with a discussion on what a training need is. Likewise, we examined the training needs assessment. We also highlighted the different methods of training needs assessment. We will conclude this session by describing how to determine a training need. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to state the major processes for identifying training needs. Training needs. Generally speaking, training involves the development or strengthening of three main aspects: knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Usually these three aspects have to be taken together. All of them need to be addressed if a person is to develop him or herself to contribute effectively to a group or organization to which she or he belongs. So, training is about enabling people to gain knowledge, to practice their skills, and to shape their attitudes. In order to know what training an individual requires, there is need for training needs assessment. What then is training needs assessment, TNA? What is training needs assessment, TNA? A need is not a want or a desire. It is a gap between what is and what ought to be. Needs assessment is used for identifying gaps and to provide information for a decision on whether the gaps could be addressed through training. The assessment is part of a planning process focusing on identifying and solving performance problems. These performance problems may be related to knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Training needs assessment, TNA, is usually related to organizational and individual performance. A needs assessment means that the individual assessed has a defined job performance or that an organization has defined objectives and goals. For example, in this instance, we are focusing on the training needs assessment of individuals to gauge their knowledge, skills, and attitudes for job performance. This implies that both what ought to be, that is, the knowledge, skills, and attitudes expected of the employees, and what is, that is, the current level of knowledge, skills, and attitudes of the individuals who are to be trained must be included in the assessment. The primary purpose of the training needs assessments is to ensure that there is a need for training and to identify the nature of what a training program should contain. A training needs assessment provides the information needed for developing a training plan that is based on the learning needs of the participants. It increases the relevance of the training and the commitment of the learners as they are involved in the preparation of the training design that reflects their expressed needs. Thus, it helps to foster a rapport between the facilitators and the participants. The facilitators can acquire basic knowledge of the strengths and limitations of the participant, and the learners can become partners in analyzing their own learning needs. How then should we carry out a training needs assessment? Methods of training needs assessment. There are many tools and methods for undertaking training needs assessment. These tools and techniques range from questionnaire-based surveys to participatory learning and action (PLA) tools. Below are some tools used for training needs assessment. 1. Questionnaire/survey questionnaires. This tool involves the preparation of questionnaires that are often lengthy and therefore time-consuming. Participants have to spend time to complete the questionnaires. The facilitators also have to spend time in analyzing the responses. There are several weaknesses of the questionnaire method. Critical weaknesses of this method are that it is not participatory and often poses problems of excess information and differences in understanding between those who develop the questionnaires and the questionnaire respondents. Most importantly, a questionnaire is non-transparent about the end use of its outcome. 2. Interviews. Individual interviews that rely on questionnaires, as is often the case, suffer from the same limitations as survey questionnaires. However, interviews are more participatory than questionnaires. 3. Focus group discussions. This method is more participatory than the questionnaire method and less time-consuming than the individual interview method. However, this method also requires an open-ended questionnaire and careful facilitation and analysis for relevant results. 4. Tests. This tool indicates the involvement of experts and is considered costly. Participants often feel disadvantaged when such a tool is used and at times could become uncooperative. 5. Participatory tools. These tools, such as card sorting, empowering lines, matrices, and games, encourage the involvement of participants and facilitators. A rapport is established between the two and they become partners in determining the content and design of a training course. It is sometimes said that participatory tools are unscientific or that their use is dependent on the facilitation skills of the facilitator. However, these tools are less time-consuming and more appropriate for participant involvement. These are also easy to learn and could be used with participants with low levels of or no reading and writing skills. Most important of all, these tools empower the learner. Determining the training needs. Determination of training needs provides a good basis for planning the training program, choosing the training methods, as well as the course contents. But the determination of training needs itself may be based on organizational needs analysis or job needs analysis, as well as person needs analysis. 1. Organizational needs analysis. The organizational analysis needs entails a detailed examination of the short and long-term objectives of the organization. This will normally include an analysis of human resource needs in terms of its short and long-term objective, an analysis of organizational efficiency index, an analysis of organizational strength and weakness in different areas like quality and quantity of output. 2. Job needs analysis. Job needs analysis entails an extensive consideration of the specific requirements of the tasks to be performed, the minimum acceptable standard of performance, the technical nature of the job, and combination of special skill requirements in terms if technical, professional, interpersonal, managerial, conceptual, analytical, and diagnostic skills required to get the job done very well. 3. Persons needs analysis. The emphasis here is on the person, the job holder. The analysis here trying to focus on the weaknesses, deficiencies, or the training needs of each job holder within the present and the near future. The analysis here focuses on individual strengths and weaknesses, on what should be the content of the program that should turn the individual worker into a better performance. Study section summary. In this study session, we discussed training needs. We started by explaining what a training need is. Subsequently, we highlighted the diverse methods of training needs. We ended the session by discussing how to determine training needs. This is the end of study section 3. Thanks for listening.